This question, do you regret publishing any of this? That's a really good question. They're asking about going to the cemetery. They said, what is the etiquette? Can I just walk into a cemetery? I have a lot of anxiety about doing this. Hi, I'm Danielle Romero. Thank you so much for being with me here on my channel where we talk about American identity and family stories. And today is our Sunday Ask Me Anything video where I'm answering your questions and responding to your comments. And Friday videos, I put out a video every Friday. Those are deep historical dives. We're talking about American identity. We're talking about your family stories. We're talking about genealogy and hidden history. But this is more chill. And if you have a question for me or a comment you want me to respond to, leave it under this video so I can be sure to find it. So we're going to just jump right in to the comments that got pulled for today. This person said, that's kind of a long one. I don't have a family tree and I'm not going to make one. And now I've watched basically everything you've made, including ones about the Melungeon surnames that have nothing to do with me. I'm white and from Toledo and my people are boring and German. There's no personal stake here for me at all, but I keep coming back because you're the only person I found who treats this in a way that makes me feel more connected to the people around me. That's like a massive compliment. I do want to push back a little bit though on what you're saying that your people are boring and German. I did a video, it had to be like 3 years ago, but it was Ben Franklin, and he was talking about how he didn't want Germans coming to the United States. And he said they were too swarthy, too brown, they weren't white. He literally said they weren't white. And so Ben Franklin has this crazy essay that I responded to. I mean, you can look it up. I'll put that video up for you guys at the end so you can watch it. But he didn't want the Germans here, and he said they weren't acclimatizing to becoming American. They were staying too German, especially in Pennsylvania. And so I just wanted to push back. I know you said you're from, I think you said Toledo, I think that's Ohio. I just want to push back on that a little bit because all of the groups that are here in the States, the interactions, they haven't been stable over time. Things have changed. And so I would encourage you to watch that video and see if there's anything about your family story that resonates in that one. Okay. Let's go to the next question. This person said, I know this is going to sound insane, but I found my great aunt's death certificate finally last Tuesday. And the first thing I thought was I need to tell Danny because I don't have anybody else who would get it. I'm so happy you found it. I'm so happy you found it. And please tell me because I know what it's like to kind of feel like you're doing this work alone. Genealogy work, family work can be very isolating, which is weird because we're talking about our families. And so it seems like you should have all these people helping you, and sometimes they do, but a lot of the work is lonely. And a lot of time we're dealing with records of people who've already passed away. So it can be kind of lonely. So I'm really happy that you found that. Hopefully it will unlock something for you in your research. This person said, my professor in 1987 taught the one-drop rule as a Southern thing, but you keep saying it's federal, this is interesting, and it's an interesting time that he was teaching it because it was only 4 years after this was repealed in Louisiana. I think we have to say there's de jure and de facto. And so the de jure is like, this is the legal structure we're talking about. When we talk about de facto, this is what was just happening socially. But the one-drop rule, from what I have researched and seen, kind of falls in between. And what I mean is that there was a one-drop rule that, especially if you have one drop of African ancestry, and I think they quantified it as 1/32nd, you were legally colored, you were legally black, you had one drop of black blood. Okay, that was legal, but the de facto side of it that is federal was that, especially I'm looking at census records, the rules for census enumerators who were going door to door in 1930, that information basically said that people should be returned, sent back legally as Negro if they had any African ancestry. So to me, that was also the one-drop rule in practice, and it was decades before. And so I think that is one aspect that hasn't really been explored as much. The laws, it's easier to kind of Google and see those, but digging into the rules for census enumerators here in the US, remember the census, it's a legal document. It's not the same as like a birth certificate or anything, but it's the government deciding who counts as white, who counts as black, and how they were doing it. And they were doing it through one drop. So I think your professor was right, but I also think it was happening on a federal level as well through the census enumerator instructions. what do you tell your daughter about where she comes from? So I have 3 kids, and we talk about this stuff all the time. They know about the channel. They used to watch videos sometimes, but they're really comfortable with their ancestor stories. That is how I treat it. It's not so much that I tell them, like, you're this, this, or this, although I do tell them, you come from these people, you come from these people, you come from these people, and it's a lot. It's more important to me that they know their ancestors' names and stories, and obviously they can't know all of them, right? But there are ones that just have been special to me and meaningful to me and inspirational to me, and so those are the ones I share with my kids. And so that is a way that I would encourage people to have those discussions, is not just frame it around, I took a DNA test, I'm 11% this, but getting to know your family story, getting to know those people who came before, and letting your children know that they're going to be ancestors one day, and we want to be a good ancestor. And part of that is knowing where we came from so we know where we're going. This question, do you regret publishing any of this? That's a really good question. I think I've never regretted publishing any of this, ever. But every now and then, I do think, man, I could never undo this. Like, I can't unring that bell, right? I couldn't, even if I shut down my channel and deleted everything, stuff is just all over out there. And that's scary to me. But on the other hand, I really feel like I'm doing what I was supposed to do with my life. I really, really do. I love this. I love doing this work. I love being with you and researching with you and learning stuff together and interpreting records and untangling some of the mess that we've inherited. And yeah, so I've never regretted publishing any of it or doing any of it. That feels really good to say, though. That's a good question. This person said, do you write it all out or just talk? I think they mean my scripts for my videos. What I normally do for the Friday videos, because the Friday videos are more like historic deep dives, is I will, in a Google document, kind of write out, I try to pick a title first, because I realize if I don't have a title, you could have the coolest video in the world, but if you don't know how to tell people what it is, it's not gonna go anywhere. No one's gonna be able to engage with it. So I try to have a title first. Sometimes I come up with a title before I come up with anything else, and that's the best when that happens. And I always try to have bullet points that I look at. So it's just kind of like keeping me on track. And since I'm editing, if I go off track, that's just a nightmare on me. It's not all written out, and half the time, no, I end up just going off, not even following what I was saying anyway. But I do try to have some bullet points on there so that I can keep myself on the straight and narrow. This person is asking about going to the cemetery. They said, what is the etiquette? Can I just walk into a cemetery? I have a lot of anxiety about doing this. I'm assuming you mean for like research. I mean, I actually really like cemeteries. I went on a trip to New England with my family recently, and we walked around Dartmouth College. And when we were walking, my husband noticed, like, he doesn't really care about cemeteries, but he knows I do. He noticed that there was a sign that said like the old Dartmouth Cemetery or whatever. And we walked down this hill. There was like surrounded by buildings and parking lots, and tucked down there. And it was the craziest cemetery ever. It was massive. And you were like going down hills, and like the cemetery, there were headstones on the hills, like on the side of the hill, under trees on the hill. And it was just huge and wooded and incredible. And I had my kids with me, and we actually went to a couple cemeteries on that trip because we were in New England. It's so old up there, you know. And the etiquette for a cemetery, I don't know if it's the same everywhere. I mean, unless it's a private cemetery, and there are private cemeteries and they'll say that on the sign, but I think you're just be respectful. I tell my kids, I don't want them running around screaming, laughing, playing like they're at the playground, and they don't do that. But I always remind them, like, we want to be respectful here. And also people could be there while we're there visiting their loved ones' graves. We want to be respectful, but other than that, I mean, I know what you mean about feeling anxiety. Even though I like going, I do feel like people are like side-eyeing me, or I'm gonna get yelled at for not being in a place I'm not supposed to, but I really like going, and I just really enjoy it. I think for me, it's so quiet, and I like reflecting on really like how short life is. And I've always been like that. I think it helps me to live every day more fully, just being appreciative that I have another day. I like being there and reading the stones, and the kids when I will read them, and especially the older ones, and try to just kind of imagine what this person's life was like. So the etiquette is, yeah, you can for the most part just walk in, and I like to find ones that are more quiet and off the beaten path though, so people aren't like watching me walk around or something. Hey, this person said, are you religious? Okay, that's interesting. I'm a Christian. I've talked about this on the channel a few times, and that is the cornerstone of my life, is my faith in Jesus Christ. And I know that not everybody is, that's not everybody's thing. And I think that here on the channel, I hope that we can still all have conversations together. And you don't have to believe what I believe. I don't have to believe what you believe, but we can still come together and have conversations and be respectful and build a community, which I'm really proud of that. But it is a really important part of my life. The Bible I have, the kids were just commenting on it today because it's beat to heck. Pieces of it are just falling apart. And my husband tried to get us matching new Bibles last year, and I thought it was so sweet of him. But I just can't give up the Bible that I have, because when I've gone through hard times or different seasons of my life, I'll write the date next to a passage of scripture that I was really meditating on during that time. And so my Bible is just this testament of all the ways that God has walked with me through difficult seasons in my life. And I can go back, and when I'm reading, and I can see that and remember that. And yeah, so definitely when I say religious, I feel like that gives a feeling of, I think I'm really great, and I don't. I am a Christian. And yeah, so that's how I would answer that. All right, last questions. What do you do when you don't know something, but you're already filming a video on camera? If you guys saw these totally unedited, I will stutter a bunch of times. I make weird faces for no reason. I do all kinds of weird little things that I have to edit out. So because I'm editing the videos and they're not just live, when I do live streams, I get so nervous because I can't edit out the weird stuff I'm doing. I'm just out there. So when I don't know something on camera, I just pause and maybe look something up, fact check something, and then get back to rolling. It's just me editing, so the only person who's embarrassed about that, or who sees that the embarrassing thing is me, thankfully. Well, this was really awesome. Thank you so much for these questions, and please drop me some questions below. I'd love to hear your comments. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you on Friday for Friday's deep dive video, whatever I end up putting out on Friday. I don't know what it is off the top of my head right now, but really looking forward to seeing you, and we'll talk soon.